Hello, all. Good morning. Hello, Nana K. Hello. Let's see. What did that one say? That one said, I think September mornings. Hello, Vicky, Paul, Fluffy, Pup, Dragon Heart, Jay and Amy. So many this morning. Good to see you in the house. Hello, Mr. Virtue. Hopefully all is well in your world. Florence. Boy, it's just ripping past. I try to highlight some of those. We got a good morning from Florida. Fred, good to see you. Another good morning from Florida, right? We got Lisa checking in from Illinois. We got the Georgia Whippoorwill. Hello, Miss Paula. Hello, Mr. Fuller. Napalo, PA, checking into the house. See, Oregon's checking in. Andy bailed on me at the last moment, Golden On. His wife's having some stitches removed this morning. Everything's fine. Everything's great. Just couldn't make it, and he won't return until November 3rd. Although there's a good chance you'll see him pop into some evening ones. But for his normal schedule, Wednesday morning, we do not get Andy again until November 3rd. Makes you sad to see me in a dark shirt. It says the original MarkZ podcast though. It's a good shirt. December 3rd, yes, Sluggo. Thank you for that correction. That is what I meant. Yeah. I'll let you all figure that one out. You're welcome on the Dr. J. He really just boy, I tell you, he's been knocking it out of the park, or God has been knocking it through the park through him. Oh no, Kelly, so sad to hear this one. Patriot Dad came a little short of the RV. We lost him on Friday the 14th. He's now reunited with Mom and my baby brother. Sending prayers of comfort. I know it's a tough time. I thought you were watching a rerun. So did I. Any shirt, just not the man bikini. The mankini. So your return's on your birthday, Wanda. It'll be perfect timing. Thoughts on Judy Shelton's involvement? She certainly talked about a return of a hybrid gold system by next July, or this coming July. Hello, New Mexico. If you're like me and you're getting that age where your body feels sluggish and off all the time, then listen up. Because recently I wasn't feeling great, and I decided to call my friend Dr. Josh for some help. Told him what was going on. His response kind of shocked me. Said I was showing all the telltale signs of a clogged liver. Probably already heard about how important your liver is for detoxification, digestion, and energy levels. But here's the thing. Most people have no idea how clogged and overburdened their liver actually is. Eating processed food, drink, even stress, things that can all take a toll, leaving your liver clogged. It's important not to let this go unchecked, because your liver is the most important organ in your body, being responsible for the proper function in nearly every system in your body, from digestion to metabolism to detoxification. Essentially, a healthy liver equals a healthy you. That's why Dr. Josh, practicing doctor with over 25 years of medical expertise, formulated a special liver supplement called Ultra Liver that acts like a deep cleanse for your entire body. Told me the Ultra Liver has crossed over 500,000 bottles sold, received thousands of 5-star reviews from happy customers and patients. That's when I'd heard enough, so jumped on the computer and ordered some. For the last few weeks, I've been taking it. Actually, it's going on almost 2 months now. Happy to report, definitely cut into things like chronic fatigue, bloating, skin issues. Say goodbye to all those things. Say hello to renewed energy, clear thinking, body that's operating closer to 100% again. Powerful stuff. Amazing how much better I felt in such a short period of time. You're not going to get results like that from any liver supplement. Dr. Josh has put his 25 plus years of experience into Ultra Liver to make sure it actually does what it's supposed to. So if you're ready to unclog your liver and flush those dangerous toxins that are sapping your energy and preventing you from losing weight, go to tryultraliver.com/MarkZ to get your hands on Ultra Liver today. And it's your lucky day because Dr. Josh has a sale going on right now with up to 50% off of Ultra Liver for a limited time. You can catch the link in the description. Do yourself a favor. Go check it out. Hello, Margaret. Mouse Mitts. Yeah, what is everybody's take on the Epstein thing? I think masterful how he suckered in the Democrats to vote for it. Now, keep in mind, they had all those records during the Biden administration and refused over and over and over and over, voting against, fighting against in the press. They voted against it. They thought there might be something in there until they all wanted to jump on that vote. I think they just screwed themselves. But hey, we'll find out. I don't care. Anybody that's guilty of that needs to be held responsible. I don't care what party. Let's see. Thoughts on Chip Roy's preserving a Sharia-free America Act. The leadership in this country needs. His bill puts America first by ensuring no foreign ideologies override our Constitution. I'm with you on that one. I have said it over and over and over. It is incompatible with Western civilization. Sharia law is incompatible with Western civilization. I know that may sound horrific. I know that may sound, well, I don't know, biased or anti-freedom of religion, yet no. If you enact Sharia law, then you have gone anti-religious freedom. If anybody's actually studied Sharia law, you'll quickly figure out it does not work. And it is the law of the land, right or wrong, is our Constitution. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think there's that big a conspiracy. There's a lot of chatter back and forth. There's plenty of them out there. Daughter Madeline. We also, guys, I have the pleasure of announcing another birthday. Buddy of mine, Scott, is on a road trip right now with his wonderful wife, Carol, the best thing that ever happened to him. And wants to say happy birthday. So, Carol, from Scott, happy birthday. And from us, of course. Focus on us that are new to this. Please. I know. I need to find the extra energy to answer all these new people questions again. It's just tough after so many times. In short, what happens after? Make certain you're signed up in our recaps, places like that, to get instructions from banks. I've had 2 different banks tell me they plan on releasing their instructions for exchange directly too, so it can be distributed to their email lists at recaps. They also have said that they would send them to other news aggregating sites like that so that you get an announcement and then simply do it. It's going to be a bank. You're not going to some shady back corner behind the dumpster outside an abandoned Walmart or anything like that, guys. You're going to a bank, but you're going to a bank that can redeem your currency instead of putting it in an envelope and sending it off. That's the short of it. Go do your thing. Feel better. I am planning on a whiskey and wisdom this evening. Yeah, no, we need to help the newbies, guys. I just need to find that extra energy after all these years to do it again. And it is perfectly okay that there are new people. I just hope you guys will help fill in new folks to make it easier on me and them, guys. They're looking for to them, it's all a new and scary thing. Footer, Ohio, happy birthday to your sister on her 76th. I just got to find the extra energy. Happy pre-birthday, Gloria. Yeah, back to the bet. That's a great whip. There is, if you are new, probably the best place for you to start. There is a video called Back to Basics. If you go to the original MarkZ.com, the original MarkZ.com, you'll look at these buttons. There is one here and says Back to Basics. It is a very short, simple podcast recording. I think it's maybe 12 minutes that will answer a ton of those questions for you very quickly. Thank you, Whip. I'd forgotten all about that. No fresh updates on Dong or what to expect. All right, guys, it's 11:10. We need to get into the news. Andy did cancel on us at the last moment. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at that one, I only have so much material because I was leaving room for Andy. So we will we'll cover the news and we'll go from there. Maybe it'll be a little shorter today, but we've got news this evening and the return of Whiskey and Wisdom after a 2-week break. Let's dive in heads first. Ooh, wait a minute. There's a fun one that I wanted to start with. I'm just going to put it in here. It's a YouTube video. I'm going to drop it in chat. I just got somebody had sent it to me because they know my sense of humor, my old school sense of humor. It is the Curly Shuffle fan-made music video with different curly shuffle dances. This is what we're going to be doing post RV. Somebody asked me, what's it going to look like as soon as we get the announcements? I can tell you what it's going to look like. Let me make certain I've got the volume off on this one. It's going to look a lot like this. We're going to be doing the Curly Shuffle. We'll be dancing. Now he's turning up the music. Boom, the post RV music. We're going to be dancing, shuffling, break dancing. Oh, yeah. All right. Could you had 2-week hangover? Curly was my favorite too. Wait, Jim, 65th birthday. Happy birthday. See if we can bandage all those old bones. All right, I got a kick out of that one. Let's move on past that one and get to the news. It's 10:12. No, it's 11:12. You guys are an hour behind. Let's get to it. CBI to support dinar stability. They want you to know that their job, they've issued a statement clarifying the objectives and functions of its investment department, mitigate risks associated with investment of foreign reserves while achieving acceptable returns, support exchange rate stability. Okay, you got an idea of what they are talking about in Iraq now, and it gets even more interesting. Iraq and Turkey. Ooh, I had another one. The order will make sense shortly. Iraq and Turkey resume negotiations on pipeline agreement. They are running under a temporary one now. This particular one is up for renewal in 2026. They're trying to work out the differences and increase oil production and output through the region. This is important because it is part of HCL moving forward. And here we have Barzani. The agreement to resume the Kurdistan region's oil export is temporary, and we are concerned about it. What he is saying is we need to push forward and pass the HCL law. Number of articles overnight and today in the news cycle, how things are working, money's going where it's supposed to, but now we need to make this permanent, the HCL, and finish all of the agreements. In other words, complete it. Why is that important? I've been told for years that with that final agreement, we will see our value. Kind of important if you're going to be doing revenue sharing, the different regions, who's bringing what in, that you know how much the currency's worth. Makes sense, right? Economists fear in the street about the change in the exchange rate with the birth of a new government. They want to make certain that there's no chance that they will reduce the rate or devalue, that the only thing that is acceptable is an increase in the purchasing power. Similar to the stories out of Kuwait or China when they revalued last. The back forth, hey, we might devalue, same stories we saw. Nobody takes it serious. Central banks come out, etc. But they do need those rumors floating around for cover. The National Bank of Iraq successfully completes the transition to the new global standard SWIFT MX. SWIFT MX has a different name. For most of you guys, it's your new standard right here, MXISO 20022 model. They want us to know that they have successfully completed the transition to the new global standard, which allows blockchain ledger to track all the movement. Ooh. Some necessary steps being completed, in my opinion, so that we can move past it. Did I even put the banner up? I think I had the. All right. If I didn't have the news time banner back up, it was the news time. A little more news to cover this morning. See, nice, right? So you got a couple of fun articles today. We start off with the CBI telling us that it supports our stability. It's going to do whatever it takes to maintain it and increase it. We have a major call from the people saying there is no way we're going to stomach this. We're worth too much money. You can't devalue. You can only go up. And we got complete adoption of the 20022 system, or the new MXISO model for Iraq and their banks. Really pretty big news day for Iraq. I'd rather have one telling us when to head to the bank, but I could use a Snickers. I haven't had a Snickers in years. What about the revalue of the dong? What amount could be set at? Bren, nobody knows for certain. Best guess from what I hear is around 2.25 to 250 US dollars per one dong. That's most of what I hear. Any new bank stories? No, nothing fun. I've had a couple of late, but they really weren't up to the level of sharing, in my opinion. I'm just reading back through some of these guys. Yeah, I think I'll be wearing that gold shirt soon. Paul, smart. I won't flex the wealth, not with so many people suffering so hard. Instead, I will help out secretly. That's a great, great approach. Anonymity is your best protection, guys. Absolutely. Ledger Insights. Last week, Citi and Swift announced they completed technical trial to enable the exchange of digital currency for fiat currency using adaptations to Swift messaging system, or let's call it the ISO MX. Beyond the technology behind this payment versus payment PvP trial, the announcement of signal strategic positioning from both sides. Swift's launching its own ledger and wants to play a central role in orchestration between legacy system different types. In other words, they're trying to carve out a place where they still matter with the new system between the old and the new. I bet you do. A lot of folks, there are going to be a lot of layoffs coming. The fundamentals continue to stay broken. Yeah, buying a ticket on the hopium train always leave you upset and full of anxieties. Woo Dan Fu, I got people going, well, why do you keep doing podcasts with the news? Shouldn't you just do one on rare occasion? The boards are going to continue to be absolutely full of usually very unrealistic hopium. I think it's very important to caution people, show them the fundamentals, share the articles so they can read them, but also talk about the rumors, because there are a bunch of them out there. You're going to see them, but you need to be able to see them with your eyes wide open and think through what they could or could not mean. In other words, not to read too much into them. Because trust me, if I stop doing a podcast today, the boards are still going to be there, and they're going to be people posting all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah, Secret, I hope they get your retirement notice soon. Let's get on the other parts of the news before I get into the rest of it now that we've done that, because I am hearing some very interesting movement of assets out of some of the historic trusts, things like Dubai, Rodriguez, Euro Trust, trusts like that, where they have been taking illiquid assets that are in the trust and turning them into liquid. for disbursement, which means we should be getting very close. I've got my first, finally, bond meeting in Europe coming tomorrow, which means it'll actually happen very late tonight after I'm in the bed. So we'll cover it tomorrow morning, and hopefully we will get some news. I have had a couple of Indian leader contacts saying they are expecting that they should have all their funds secured by the end of the week for this event. So I'm hearing very positive stuff. I'm just cautioning, stay grounded. Let's see. So what's that? Angeline, just read the articles we share on the budget and the HCL law. We talk about it every day, share many articles out of Iraq, UN, other countries from the region. Read them and find out. We talk about them daily. This was a major red flag in 2008, and now it's happening again. These are some of the things that concern me, and we're going to talk about them. And just like the person that had mentioned being where was I going on that one? Anyways, I got distracted by one. Yeah. I think I'm just going to start like removing some of the passive aggressive trolls. What do you guys think? People that never watch, and they try to seed their questions only because they want to shake folks. Should I leave them in? I know it's like that whole free speech thing. Free speech does give you the right to be an asshole and say things. Problem is, it also gives other people the right to bust your tag your tater for being a dumbass. Dump them out. They still have free speech. They can start their own podcast channel, etc. No word on Saint Germain that I have heard yet for this year. I know the hopes always go through the roof at Christmas and Easter, and I have not heard anything on that front. Yeah, Hunter Guy, if you stop doing podcasts every day, who would ask why Nader says what he does? I could rest and sleep. Problem is, you wouldn't have anybody to filter through the crazy rumors for you. Gladdy, we don't know the exact amount of bonds that have been processed. I think they have probably positioned the overwhelming majority, but how many may or may not actually have money in their pockets? That's the question, and I don't have that answer. Grand Rising, Mercy. All right, let's keep running. Yeah, number one life rule: don't be a butthole. Because you do. You got the right to say what you want. You just also have to take responsibility for it. Mr. Bill and Linda, do you guys think we need to talk about this one? Let's finish a couple of pieces here, and then we got time to go down some of those rabbit holes. The video with Democrats saying they don't have to obey orders from Trump. They do have to obey any legal orders by the president. They have to obey them. Then they can go to JAG. Then they can complain. Then they can go through the process. But it doesn't change what they can and can't do. I was stunned by the number of Democrats that were former military that were suggesting blatant treason in that video that they put out. That is one that is biting them in the butt. But we know the playbook. We've seen it over and over. I mean, how many more memos need to be leaked from DNC staffers about how they are calling to throw shade on this, question that, don't talk about substance? I mean, how many more of the internal DNC lockstep memos do people need to read before they finally figure out it's the biggest BS party in the history of the United States? And the second one, running a very, very, very tight second in corruption, is the RNC, the rhinos. At some point, guys, we have to stop being responsible for stupid people and just let them be stupid. Let's see. Will not an RV prevent the looming economic collapse? Bernard, this is a door that I wanted somebody to open. Thank you. It would. But logistically, it is easier for them to let it crash and force everything to adjust. I know, because it's easier. I'm afraid that is going to be how it happens, that it's going to be the collapse that forces the reset. Can they do it before? Yes. It costs them more. It's a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper for them to do it when assets have crashed. When the entire world economy is in shambles, it's going to be a lot easier for them and a lot less expensive for them to do it. And I'm afraid that they are going to take that over doing the responsible thing and providing for people. It's always been a concern in my book. I am curious what you all think. Country Girl, yes. The answer is yes. If I did no podcast, would he still be misquoted all the time? I may perhaps be the most misquoted person in history. And there's a lot of competition on that one, so I don't feel special. This was a major red flag in 2008, and now it's happening again. What are we talking about? Well, what we're talking about, anything from foreclosures, repossessions, you name it. But we're going to talk about foreclosures specifically, as we are watching a steady climb, actually to a higher degree than we saw in 2008. The fundamentals are very broken. Very broken, and we are watching them go up again. It's increased for 8 consecutive months. Now, it is a reminder for you folks that under the Biden administration, they had passed all kinds of stopgap measures to not have foreclosures. And then they asked banks to hold foreclosures during the election cycle. So what you had was almost 4 years of foreclosures backing up. Almost 4 years. The ones that they had managed to stall until January of 2025. We shared multiple stories on that. We shared a number of banks talking about, or bank personnel, whistleblowers talking about how they had been leaned on to hold those foreclosures until after the election in hopes that it would help Biden/Harris. It also gives them the opportunity to pin it on Trump and people that support true market, free markets, capitalism, etc., giving them a wonderful excuse to say, hey, look, you remember when the Socialist Democrat was in there? We didn't have those foreclosures. No, all they did was shift them until the Trump administration. We shared it back then when it was happening, and we are watching it play out right in front of our eyes. We were only, 11 months ahead of the curve. Now mainstream press is catching up. Key takeaway from Trump's meeting with the Saudi crown prince. I don't know why I wasted my time putting that one in here. Probably because of the Abraham Accords and the burgeoning peace that we are seeing in the Middle East. Unprecedented, but we have noticed that the more that the U.S. thumbs NATO, the UK, the more peace we get. When he ignores them, the more peace we get. How things are starting to come to a conclusion in the Ukraine, in the Middle East, etc. Seems to be whenever we step away from the UK, NATO, Germany, Europe, we find peace. It's almost like somebody's trying to make us fight. I know I'm going to end up having to do a long one on this one. Dr. Ann, happy birthday. Would they crash it just prior to Christmas? Seems harsh. I don't think they would get to pick the timing, promise MAGA. That's one thing. When you've pushed it this far, you don't know which is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Might be this one, might be the next one. Do I believe we're watching a movie? Yes, and it sucks. Some of it's real, some of it's a movie. That's my take. All right, let's get to the Abraham Accords. I think that is what is our important takeaway from that meeting, is the push forward and the deals being made with Saudi. And if you pay attention, you will hear Trump in backhanded ways discussing how engineered 9/11 was, and engineered by UK politicians, how Ukrainian peace didn't happen because of Johnson. If you really pay attention to the conversations that they were having, Shows us a lot. Lewis can jump in. Let me send him one for a minute. Since we did not get him yesterday, give me just a minute, guys. I am going to see if I can get this pulled together for Lewis to join real quickly if he can. For a short one. Sorry about the lack of speech there as I was multitasking. Did I mention women are exponentially better at multitasking than men? Do you think when this movie is over, things will be better? Kelly, I believe that for a short time they will be better. And then, unless you and I, the people in the know on this one, unless you and I step up to a new level, it will be just as bad. You might get 10-year break, maybe, before things go completely off the rails. Till Christ returns, none of this is going to stick. I firmly believe that. I wish I didn't, but I've studied human history. Y'all are too funny. Gonna wait and get Lewis in here. I am going to bounce. Well, I'm not. When I say I'm going to bounce to the next article. $1 trillion investment, Saudi U.S. getting tighter and closer. Saudi. I would like to point out, though, freedoms, personal freedoms, women's rights, and everything have made massive leaps in the last few years in Saudi Arabia, and I would like to give them proper credit for that. I know I've beat on them over the years through 9/11, through some of these. I'm going to beat on any administration, any country that I think is taking a leak on human rights. And I do think they have made major, major progress. Now let's get to why we had that thumbnail. As golden toilet corruption scheme rocks Ukraine, support for Zelensky falls below 20%. According to many polls, Ukrainians appear to be fed up after a search of the apartment of Timur Mindich, co-producer of the comedy show that launched Zelensky, business partner of Zelensky. Timur is an oligarch and a close associate of President Zelensky. Revealed stacks of cash and even a golden toilet. He even had a golden bidet, gold-plated toilets and bidets, and stacks of cash, fresh from the U.S. that still had the barcodes of the banks, as he has fled to Israel to avoid persecution, which I have to ask myself why so many pedophiles, etc., flee to Israel. You got to ask yourself the question. I know this may sound like to the folks that are Jewish out there that I'm beating on you. I am not in any way. I'm asking the question why these folks flee from corruption, pedophilia, etc., human trafficking, why they flee to Israel to be protected when Israel is supposed to be our ally. Should they not just immediately give us custody? Is there some kind of like no extradition thing going on? That would not make sense for the United States at all. Think about it. Just think about it. Apply your brains. Most of you already have, and you've come to the same conclusion that I have. Something stinks. Something smells. And the golden toilet's not making it better. He was caught up in yet another probe, 100 million euros being stolen. Makes you feel really good about all that money we send him, doesn't it? All right, now we'll see. Somebody had mentioned to, let's see, check your... Reading a few of these. No, Zelensky's not in Israel. Timur is in Israel. Timur Mindich, partner of Zelensky and Ukrainian oligarch that is surrounded by massive corruption scandals and, of course, bundles of cash from U.S. banks, you name it. Yeah, right. Yep, that's some crazy stuff. Robert, I am more concerned about rhinos because those are people that are supposed to be fighting the communist Muslim, the stuff that's erasing our liberties. And not all Muslims are doing that, but it is being used as a Trojan horse. The people that are supposed to be protecting us are selling us for a cut. Haven't had any fun updates on Venezuela, other than I can tell you, if I were in Venezuela, the waiting, is there going to be a military strike? Is there going to be an overthrow? Is there going to be this? Is there going to be that? It's got to be excruciating to be living in Venezuela right now, waiting for the next shoe to drop. It's got to be. I sent Lewis a link, emailed it to him. I don't know if he actually, somebody mentioned it in chat. I don't know if he actually wants to or can. He texted. Yeah, all right. All right. I got to read one on or talk. All right, Jimmy Dore. All right, Jimmy. Let's see. SSGNAC note all heck is going on in the Philippines. They need a new president administration of Philippines. Seems to be coming unglued at the seams. Let's see. Jazzy Dancer. If someone was going to buy one currency a month until the RV, which one would you buy? I don't know what somebody has. Jazzy Dancer. For me, I've said it before, my favorite are Iraqi dinar and the Vietnamese dong. After that would be the Indonesian currency if I got to put them in order. As to which ones I like. I would also consider putting some silver. This is not financial. This is me, what I would do as I think it through. Definitely seek out, professional that has been through enough up markets and down markets to truly understand. I hate to beat on somebody young, but I would not go to a 30-year-old financial advisor. There are probably some great ones out there, but unless they had a mentor that's older or they have really, truly studied history and economics, I would avoid them like the plague because they're probably going to sell you some canned commercial product that makes the banks or the funds a lot of money and you very little. And definitely nobody that believes in modern economic theory. I would avoid that like the plague. Gold has not been revalued yet, but it has started moving up again. That's possible. Special D said, Wells sold my remainder of my mortgage as of next month. Do you suppose they're trying to get money before Nasera? That would make sense. That would make a lot of sense. Mr. C is on Friday, not on Thursday. Tomorrow is going to be Thursday. Let's bring him in, the man, the myth. Where are you at? That's not your normal place.
No, traveling. Parts unknown. Twilight Zone.
I feel like we're in the Twilight Zone. So how'd the debate go?
Oh, I totally tanked it. It was horrible. They should have got rid of me right away. Actually, I was told it was pretty fantastic. People told me I was the clear winner. Wow, that was pretty cool to hear. So we did really, really well. Let me adjust this camera here real quick. See if I got this here. Oh, look at that. Well, if I can't be governor, I could stack cups and put my phone on top of it.
There you go. Or we can start building card houses just like the government of California has, and see if they hold up to hurricane force winds.
Yeah, and it's not like we are in an earthquake zone anywhere here in California either. It's
somebody, if they wanted to watch a replay of that debate. Now, you had sent a link at some point. I can see if I can find it in here. And I
Well,
will get it in chat in just a minute, guys. Just give me a minute because of how I have to move it from my phone to email, and I'll let Lewis entertain you for a moment with
sure.
facts.
Yeah, we helped you out too because the debate was a production, so it was like 3.5 hours long. So what we did is we clipped out the questions and the answers from Hilton and myself. So it's called Hilton versus Herms, and we did that because there's a huge dichotomy between myself and who they call the front runner. And it's interesting enough, and I think this is fascinating and sad in the political climate that we're in, or in the deep state climate we're in. So everything Steve Hilton has done, the media has picked up on it, everything. But for some reason, he goes and does the debate with 12 other candidates, and it's crickets. Not one media outlet, not even the conservative media guys, and I'm going to call them out. OAN, by the way, they were there. So OAN, Newsmax, Gateway Pundit, Fox News, none of them have a word about this debate. How is that even possible? Well, I think we understand the apparatus we're in, and it seems like the fix is in. So I decided to put together a Hilton versus Herms, and people can watch it for themselves. It's just about 18, 19 minutes. And I'm not saying anything bad about Hilton. I'm just letting you guys see for yourself what we're dealing with. And this video is starting to get a lot of attention. I think people can see maybe the difference between authenticity and acting. And
Yeah.
it's in several places, by the way. So that's just one that you're looking at.
All right. What else is going on? I mean, California. We should probably focus on that one. But I have to ask you, with all the fallout we're watching, all the politics, the Epstein, whether it's diversion, whether it's got real teeth to it, just getting your thoughts on just the politics of the day.
Well, when you say real teeth to it, I'm assuming you mean the speculation that Trump is involved in it.
Oh yeah, that to me, we've had too many documents, too many people say, too many of the emails that show that Epstein wanted to avoid Trump at all costs. We have
right.
like testimony from some whistleblowers from the first case saying how Trump was working with prosecution to help collect information once he had found out that Epstein was slimy. I mean, I'm not worried about Trump being implicated in a bad way at this at all.
No, not at all. In fact, we have to remember, and this is when the panic started, when President Trump was with Pam Bondi and a journalist asked him about the Epstein files, and President Trump took the question away from Pam Bondi and he went off on the guy about Epstein files. And then later on, he went off about us, his supporters, about leave it alone. That was clinical art of war move. Clinical art of war move.
Because what you just get, every single Democrat, well, I say everything, 3 of them refused to vote, period. 3 didn't show up to vote. But the overwhelming 2 Republicans didn't show up. 1 voted not to release. So 3 and 3, if you want to put it that way, Republicans, Democrats. But he did. He suckered every one of them into him. And we're already seeing the fruit of that one. Summers, former Treasury Secretary, Bill Clinton, Bill and Hillary, pretty much on the run now, trying to avoid subpoenas to testify in front of Congress. I mean, it's already proven to be a crap show for the Democrats, and it's Wednesday.
And it's what exactly.
Wednesday.
So
it's not even like made it to Friday yet, and they've already, crapped the bed.
It's just beautiful. It was absolutely just perfect art of war, in my opinion. He suckered them in. They get all riled up. They were begging for the release of the Epstein files. Suddenly, now voted for it, and it's going to be fun to see the fallout from that. I think the implications, Mark, in California are going to be huge. Huge. I think let's just talk about the dirtiness of the politicians in California, and then we can speculate maybe they have something to do with the Epstein file, because I've done a lot of studying on this, the compromise. I did something involving Burkle that had over 3 million views, because I detail this. This is kind of my wheelhouse, so I'm glad you brought this up. So what happens is we have Nancy Pelosi, we have Newsom, by the way, that are related. People need to know that in office, and then you have Schiff, who's implicated in a Los Angeles hotel and possibly the murder of a black child. I say implicated. You have Dirty Eric Swalwell, who we know is directly probably and compromised, most likely by the Chinese. You have Maxine Waters. Think of these type of characters that you have here, the most evil of the evil. You have Schiff connected to many things that may implicate that there's human trafficking or child trafficking involved in there. I believe that if we look at the way Epstein worked, Epstein he didn't really give a darn about whether it was child trafficking or what was going on. This was a complete operation, probably run all the way up above Les Wexner. So you had Les Wexner, who was kind of puppeteering, I believe, Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Epstein. This was just an operation that they ran on as many wealthy, influential people as they possibly can suck in. Trump never fell for it, I believe. And what their objective is to get something dirty on them. And I believe the way they did is they offered up a sexual party first, and then they offer up children. And then if you do not do that, then they probably spike your drink and get you compromised anyway. Why doesn't that work for President Trump? Well, President Trump has already kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. He's already said that I think he's dirty. He may have taken a ride on the plane, right? But I can tell you one thing President Trump doesn't do, right? He does not drink. Therefore, it's hard to get him drugged, especially if he's just drinking a bottle of water. So we need to consider this stuff. He's a hard man to compromise in those positions. I believe that the real stuff coming
right,
out.
wrong, or indifferent, Trump they've tried to compromise him since the 80s.
That's right.
As a wealthy, New York businessman, billionaire, whatever, They have done their absolute best for decades. He's had a lot of practice at this game. His practice didn't come after he was elected.
Absolutely. In fact, the Italian mob tried to compromise him big time. And there's actually interviews with Italian mobsters saying he's one of the hardest guys to work with. But the good news is you always know where he's coming from. Think about that. That's it. It's a huge compliment that they're saying, and we could not get to him. These are mobsters that said that.
Yeah. What's first up? Well, I don't even know where to go on the Epstein thing. A lot of people still trying to figure out distraction, active case, all that. No, I think he wanted to come out to show how dirty our intelligence agencies are, and he suckered politicians into voting for it.
Yeah. It sure feels like that. No, I agree with you, Mark. It's genius. It's absolute genius. So,
and that's probably Sun Tzu. I mean, remember, I know we talk about art of war, all those things. It's a life practice. I don't know how to put that one, but he has embraced it since he was a teenager. The art of the war.
Yeah.
So it's ingrained. It's ingrained in Trump's psyche at this point.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Bobby wants to know the very first thing you're going to do is once you're elected governor. I assume once you're like in position as governor, because it's not going to do you a whole lot of good until you have the governor's mansion. At least he's been doing that really nice renovation for you.
I know, 4.2 million,
like $2 billion or some kind of renovation.
I think it's
like tripling the size. I mean, just obscene. The money.
Last check was $4.4. Yeah, last check was $4.2 million, and he's not moving in. So I have no idea. There's going to be a lot of first things when we come in. So what we'll do is we'll have a lot of our legislation already written, so we're going to be able to propose that through. Obviously, we have to get legislation also sponsored in California. That's the way it works. No problem. So we'll work on all of this ahead of time. But first, we're going to go and we're going to create a symposium with the sheriffs and get the sheriffs on the same page, so the sheriffs understand that they are constitutional sheriffs and they need to behave accordingly, and that we will support them, and we the people hold them accountable if they are not. And we're going to have a website called exposure.ca.gov where we'll be exposing anybody that is not doing the right thing. And that means going after child trafficking, going after election fraudsters, and anybody that is complying to the medical mafia and caving into them. They must do the best that they possibly can do, or we will expose them on a website.
Yeah, you've got cartels leaning on your legal medical marijuana industry. California's got a lot to work through as politicians were in bed with the crooks.
Yeah, and then I'm sure they will be for a long time. But if you hit that website, the exposure website, you're already being looked at from legal framework, or let's say lawful framework, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that would be Lady Hawk. So many of these things are great ideas, but just I don't know who has the time to do all of those things, to go do video clips from all your campaign time since you've been joining me over the years, etc. A lot of things would be great to do. I just not enough people to do all these great ideas.
Well, she's on the right track, though. We have
on the right track.
We have a team out there, and about every interview I do, they take about 3 or 4 clips from there. And you're going to start seeing those all over the place.
Just some questions. I'm not even like filtering them first. I'm just putting them out there for you. I know most guys, if I did this to anybody but Lewis Herms, they would be politely leaving the show. Very politely. If I just put it right out there, I wasn't like filtering them out, softballing it with pre-prepared questions, they would be gone. I have yet to run across more than a handful that are willing to take the tough questions or whatever they may happen to be. Lewis, question, what are you talking about with the sheriffs, with Chad Bianco being the Riverside County Sheriff? Do you think his handlers didn't want him there because he declined?
I don't know. I'm curious, and I really wish Chad was there. He was really the only person that no-showed. Kim's take on it was that he was scheduled and then could make it, and then she rescheduled a date for him. He said yes. I guess he got a new manager, and the next thing you know, it was a no-show, or he said no. I wasn't involved in that, not interested in being involved in the details of that, but I am interested to figure out what his reasoning behind not showing was, because I think it was very, very, very important.
I think, I'll agree with you on that one. Yeah, I wish out-of-staters could vote in California. I'm guessing a lot do, but no, you should not.
I think they do. I think many vote from the grave. I think, and that's hard enough. Can you imagine being cremated and still voting?
Yeah, what was it like in Michigan in the 2000 election? It was like 1,900 people that were born in 1900 voted. Like, I don't know about you guys doing the math, but that's spectacular. Longest lifespan in the world is in Michigan during election cycles.
Yes, they must be drinking deuterium-free water.
Yeah, right. Watch the water, folks. Watch the water.
Right.
Lewis, when you get into the mansion, get a team. Find the bugs.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Find
the hidden tunnel. Find the bugs. Yeah. Find whatever else. I know. Let's just grab the tinfoil hat.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Let's see, Mr. Herms, as a California resident myself, where do you see the lawsuit against this Prop 50 corrupt voting going? We did have like a panel of judges freeze the changes in Texas. We'll see if it sticks or if it doesn't stick. But it would lay precedents down to freeze the very political changes that were made in California.
Yeah, you said one of my favorite words, Mark. I've been saying for a long time, judges are cowards. If judges are making a decision, they generally need precedents. And if there's precedents there, it's very easy for them to glom onto it because they said, it's not me, there's precedents, right? That's so I don't even think we need that. I think this is a SCOTUS deal. I really think this is going to go to the Supreme Court. I believe this is a catalyst for federalizing the elections coming in 2026, which will hugely benefit somebody like myself. And I'm going to go as far to say as I would not be shocked if National Guards were at each precinct.
I mean, at some point we have to go to that level to ever truly clean it, to ever restore faith in the system. Let's run with the idea that there's very little fraud, that statistically, et cetera, whatever. Let's just run with the argument that the left is using to not change anything, and the rhinos as well are using not to change anything. Doesn't matter if there's only little. The perception is there with now what I think it's a little over 50% of Americans now do not trust the system to be fair and honest. So, I mean, even if it is, and they're right, it's only a fraction, then we still have to fix it to restore faith in the electoral system, or suffrage doesn't work, meaning the right to vote, etc. So either way, we have to make the change. And I think you're right. I think we should go overboard to make certain that people trust the system. And guys, I don't hesitate when they're out going, when Jasmine Crockett's out there losing her wiggy mind going, I can't believe they're going to use Dominion machines. They can be manipulated. Trump has probably stolen his election using those same machines. Whip her up, man. Yeah, paper ballots, IDs. These are the only ways to fix it. Get rid of mail-in ballots. You're right. You don't want those nasty Republicans, Trump, those independents, that Lewis Herms winning because he engineered the vote or changed it or had out-of-state people vote. You're right. Let's crack down.
That's
I'll
right.
use their fear to get what we want because I know how that's going to go.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. There's Art of War again, Mark. Sounds like you are a general of the Art of War.
Art of War, right? Yeah. We got to learn to take advantage of it. I mean, they've been using it against the right. They've been using it against conservatives for, well, almost the beginning of time. And they've also been using against conservatives that, guys, we have strong opinions. And if we don't agree, we take it out on other people on our side. Whereas the left walks lockstep. They have a hive mentality. We have an independent mentality. And that costs us greatly. It's a great thing. I think we should have it. I think they should have it. And we wouldn't have this position. But you got to understand that it comes with those eyes wide open, comes also with a bit of a negative or a penalty.
Yeah, completely agree. I've said this for years. You have the Democrats, which are completely controlled by the deep state. They are in lockstep, and then you have a fractured conservative. So let's even go. Let's say there's 20% Marxists, right? Let's just think there's 20% Marxists. Let's say there's 30% that aren't Marxists, but they're liberal, and there's 50% conservative. You would think right away the 50% would win. No, because the 30% Democrats, they go lockstep with the 20% Marxists every day of the week because they're weak. So what happens is you could even have 70% conservative and only 30% leftist, but it doesn't matter because we are so fractured that 30% will trump, no pun intended, that 70% every time. But you nailed it, and you kind of buried the lead here. That is a wonderful thing that conservatives are independent thinkers. That is an amazing thing. But we also would need to read the writing on the walls on certain things and not eat our own. When it comes time, we need to perform together and put our egos on the shelf.
No, we do. We eat our own all the time. Lewis, it's about time President Trump should put out a national emergency on voter fraud and interference. And how does that look? That may make it look like he's trying to hijack. I mean, that's a tough one. What do you think?
No, I don't know how it would look like he's trying to hijack it. I would position it like this, and I do this when I'm on the campaign trail. When I talk to people and I say there is massive fraud, the conservatives are already proven to cheat in many states, and people's ears perk up. They're like, what did he say? I go, oh yeah, it's horrible. I said so, and we believe that the Dems have cheated also. So I definitely think that we need a full investigation in this thing, and I get people to buy into it. They're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, right? I think there's a way that he can market this and get it done. I honestly don't think it should really come from him. It should be a proposal coming from someplace else, maybe even a Tulsi Gabbard. right?
Or he waits for that right press opportunity when somebody says, what do you say about, how you stole election or doubters or whatever? And he said,
Yep.
yeah, you've got every reason, with the history of elections around the world in the United States. You should question it. I tell you what, why don't we make this as transparent as we can? Let's send in National Guard. Let's send in observers. Let's go through each one. I mean, just lay himself out there. Say, I understand. And in order to reassure people, I say we go ahead, check me out, totally transparent, along with all the other candidates, all the other elections, etc. He could use their statement against them on national television. He just got to wait for that right moment for somebody to say something, for a Jasmine Crockett or whatever. When they say, well, what do you say about allegations like this? And that could be his opportunity. I'm just spitballing now on ideas on how to get it across so that people embrace it.
Well, I go a little farther than this, and this is what I proposed a while ago, is I believe they should seed the public with actual Republican fraud cases. There are a couple in Alabama. I think there was like one in Michigan.
One in North Carolina.
Yep, they should seed the public with this and get this into the zeitgeist, get this into the media flow, and then drop the hammer and go, this is ridiculous. We need to investigate this and all elections. And I believe that is the time that they're going to back the deep state into the corner.
Chef Patry with a question, because this is kind of a tough one. I mean, you look at the size of the electorate, the support, etc. How do you handle a question like this one? Lewis, thoughts on Governor Abbott officially declaring the Muslim Brotherhood and CAIR as foreign terrorist organizations unable to hold property in Texas? Do you feel like California should follow suit? Something similar?
It is a phenomenal question. So we need to look at this openly and honestly, right? And the reality is, in the Islamic doctrine and teachings, it is about conquering. It is not about assimilating. So we have to understand that. Also, I believe that we should infiltrate some of the mosques, because they are specifically talking Sharia law and how to take over with inside.
I mean, heck, we sent agents inside of Catholic churches under the Biden administration.
Got it. We also sent agents all over J6ers, didn't we? And those are true patriots. And that was to change the narrative. I'm not suggesting we change the narrative. I think we should find out what the narrative is. I would absolutely.
That's a good one.
Yep. And I would absolutely.
We should find out what it actually is. What's
that's
real?
It. Because then we'll use it. We'll use that because it's truth, right? And if it dictates us making care in the Muslim Brotherhood, I would suggest, and Black Lives Matter and Antifa, which it is, and so on and so forth, terrorist organizations, then absolutely so be it. This is not an attack on a race. It's not even an attack on a religion. It's an attack on an ideology that is trying to destroy America from the inside with treasonous behavior. And we have every right to be at war when that's the case. I'll even go as far, which is going to frustrate some people. There's an element of fake Jews also.
Oh, absolutely.
That do the exact same thing.
Yeah, to whip up, to whip up anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish as well. There absolutely is.
So we should investigate all of it, and all of these organizations that are anti-American and their agenda is to tear American down from the inside. They need to be taken out.
I shared this one yet again.
Why would we allow these people inside the country when their goal is to tear us down?
It doesn't make much sense. But I shared the 45 years ago, the KGB defector warning America, and it is so just, it's the playbook we've experienced.
Yeah, this is color revolution on steroids lately.
And the thing is, it's just so, they're not even trying to hide it. That's either the level of arrogance or the level I don't care.
Okay, I'm going to take this to another level, and this is going to be a conspiratorial tinfoil hat, maybe a good moment. I believe let's equate the parasites that run things, the deep state parasites, maybe satanic parasites. I know you can't say that word. We don't go there, Lewis. Well, I'm going there. Let's equate these evildoers, right, as a lioness, and let's equate their infrastructure as their cubs. When you get a lioness backed into a corner, protecting their cubs, they go all out to do everything for you. But then take it to another level. What if these baddies already know they're defeated, but they're so evil that instead of backing down, they want to do as much damage to us on their way out as possible? I think that's the likely scenario, what we're seeing right now, which in essence is a good thing.
Boy, I tell you, that is going to be a tough one. It's going to be the H-1B visa conversation for you, because it is such a big part of the workforce in California, the tech industry. Have you been quizzed much on that front yet?
Yeah, well, I had I'll be honest, one question, and they said, "What do you think about what Trump's doing now?" And I said, "Well, I'd like to get the details because it feels like he's going a little too far, in my opinion." So I don't like the comment that there's 600,000 Chinese that are thinking about giving them a pass because it would decimate our collegiate system if we didn't. Well, I'm sorry. Well, what has our universities really been putting out? They've been putting out a lot of indoctrinated people at this time, right? Anybody should be in tech. I don't buy that we don't have enough Americans to do the job. I don't buy that. I really don't. I believe that we have incentivized Americans in the wrong way. And what we've done is we've fed them with food stamps and free housing and free cell phones and free healthcare, that it's a lot easier for them to stay at home than get off their ass and do anything. I believe inherently in most people, they want to be a productive person in society. I think that's deep down.
I would like to think that, at least.
Yeah, you would hope, right? And I think if you start taking away some of these benefits and positioning them into job training, I think ultimately they would thrive. If we need it temporarily, I'll go along with President Trump temporarily, because you can't just decimate industry across the United States, right? But it cannot be a permanent fix. We have to work on retraining our workforce inside the United States. And I think we're going to see a lot more than that. Now, we can also give work visas for farmers and other industries. That's another way to handle it.
Oh, it used to work. Now, something else Trump is doing, the Trump administration, and it does not get any press out there from mainstream media, but they have been streamlining and putting extra resources behind the naturalization department. In other words, that backlog of people that legitimately want to be here, legitimately doing the right paperwork, legitimately doing all the right things, that have been in limbo for 10, 15, 20 years, even during the first Trump administration, but especially during the Obama administration and the Biden administration. He's been streamlining the process and putting a lot more manpower that's no longer processing illegals at the border, is now processing the people that have legally applied and have been working here for years, sometimes decades, to finally get them naturalized and citizenship so that they're not illegal. This is something they do not talk about. This should have every pro-immigration person just so excited, but he's not going to get credit for it. He's not going to get credit for helping the people that want to be here, that assimilated.
I agree.
Want to pay their taxes, want to be part of the society. He's helping get them taken care of, but that is not getting any press, because then they might go, he's really not anti-immigration. He's just anti-illegal immigration.
Well, that's the truth. You and I know that. Most people here watching know that. What I have noticed, though, is there's a conservative faction that got really triggered when they found out about the way he's streamlining the naturalization, and they position it completely different. In fact, I reacted right away, and I go, "Wait a second, let me really look into this." And you're nailing it. Why wouldn't we want the best of the best that want to be here, that go through the legal process, right? Why wouldn't we want them to become citizens? We would. This is what America
Right.
was built on. This is what makes us absolutely beautiful. When somebody's there are so many people that want to become citizens, and they legitimately learn the Constitution. They know what the Bill of Rights are. They understand what communism looks like, and that's the last thing that they want. They are more patriotic than the people that are just sitting on welfare, popping out children so they can get a bigger check. Right? So
Much
that's
like
actually,
when you look at like the early Cuban immigrants that fought and escaped Castro, you look at the early Venezuelan immigrants that escaped socialism, they
exactly.
are more devout patriots than people whose family have been here 4, 5, 6 generations because they understand El Salvador. Many in that same heading. Many from the Bosnian Serbian war that fled in the early 90s.
Yep,
They are, I mean, they will fight you tooth and nail. They will make that apple
absolutely.
pie on July 4th. They will fly that flag. They are extreme in their belief that freedom matters and the Constitution matters.
Yep, you nailed it. In fact, my wife is Mexican, and you know what her biggest frustration is when she sees uh, people of her nationality flying Mexican flags in our country. She gets pissed because she understands what it takes here. She's watched her family go through it and do it the right way and get their citizenship, right? And most of them are devout patriots.
Very much so. Okay, I just noticed time. I'm going to have to start wrapping things up. Anything you want to touch on before while you have the opportunity?
No, what we're going to start doing here in the next 2 months is we're going to end up doing kind of like fireside chats where I'm creating a room in our home, and I'm going to invite people to come in and just start asking questions, anything they want to know, and it'll be open Zoom calls for everybody. I think that'll be a really, really interesting thing, and I'll take the hard questions too. And if I don't have the answers, I'll let you know, and I'll go figure it out.
No, that would be just awesome. The people deserve a well, how do I say it? Because I don't want to name you a politician, but I guess right, wrong, or different. By throwing your hat in the ring, you're a politician. Um, but they need ones that truly care about the people instead of just their own gains. Um, wait, let me see if I can read any of that. Lewis, send me the mail-in ballot 100 times. I love the sense of humor here.
I don't need to send it to you. Just go to your neighbor. They'll have about 12 of them.
It's I go back to the 2020 election. I can't tell you how many mail-in ballots that showed up on my doorstep for me, and I did not request a one.
Yeah, it's scary. I really believe that President Trump is going to federalize this election, but regardless, I'm getting together with a group of actual candidates, which is good, and we are going to be attacking this and repairing elections in several counties, not waiting for the election to get in office to do so. And I have to say, I appreciate that these candidates are willing to work on doing that. There are some true patriots that are running. I may disagree with some of their policies, but I will say there are some good ones. And you'll notice the ones not working with us that aren't. It'll be pretty simple.
Yeah, desalination plants. There's so many of those things where the over-the-top environmentalists are not helping the environment; they're hurting it with protecting a system because they don't want to move forward with any progress. They're like, well, we don't know what the long term. We know what's happening now. A desalination, energy grid. Although I will argue that Gavin Newsom is doing his level best to alleviate the pressure on the power grid in California by taxing businesses so much that they leave and
Exactly.
individuals so much that they leave. I mean, the state's
Exactly.
losing 400,000 people a year at this point. Some years more, not even talking about business. I mean, he's really trying to alleviate the pressure and the real estate pressure by running everybody out of the state.
I know, I know. Real quick, in regards to desalination plants, I'm a believer in them, but they may not be as necessary. If we can capture half of the 40 billion gallons that are running off into the oceans daily, if we just capture, say, 20 billion of that in the reservoirs, and building up some of the dams, and then letting that water flow, there will never be a fake drought again if we do that.
That's a great point. Lewis, thank you for your time. It is much appreciated. We get to
Appreciate you,
see you
Mark.
again soon. I'm certain any big Thanksgiving plans that folks need to know about for Lewis and the family.
Lewis will be cooking green beans and bacon. That's my specialty.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'm not going to Lewis's house because of the green beans. I appreciate
But
you, Lewis. Thank you.
thanks, guys. You know where you could go is hermsforcali.com. That would be awesome.
No, that would be. And let me make certain I pull that one up for folks and make certain they have it. Mods, if you could help me out a little bit and post Herms for Cali. If you feel so inclined, they have a donate button. They have a get involved. You can find out how to get involved, what you can do, updates on the campaign. There's an events where you can find out what's upcoming, how events in the past went. Great site you have been putting together there.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate your brother.
Appreciate you. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
For the rest of the folks, I am not going to attempt to sing happy birthday. Voice just is not recovered enough for that. But I do want to shout out again to all those people that are celebrating. Scott's lovely bride, Carol, Madeline, Jim, Dr. Ann, anybody else, please sound off so at least your friends here can wish you a happy birthday. And look forward to seeing you folks tonight. Brief update at 7 for the news, and then Whiskey and Wisdom at 8 Eastern. See you guys soon. I like that. Bacon makes mud taste better. Truth.